Hello and welcome to another episode of VodTalk with your host, SABIA KHATUN. I hope everyone is feeling well and braving through the days and the weeks that we have been having, from lockdown to all the different tier systems that we are being faced with. I hope everyone are keeping safe and bearing with all of the measures that the government has faced and we are faced with, and making the most of and benefiting with surroundings and things that, the challenges that we face. Today, we have a very, very great episode, which is being spoken about, and it's the rise of virtual learning and artificial intelligence. Now, before I go on, there is a quote I'd like to mention, and along that, there is another exciting thing that I would like to mention that is happening recently. So I'd like to say that the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. And I think that is such a beautiful quote that, you'll understand, some of the impacts and implications of why I chose that today. I also want to mention that we have recently had, it was only yesterday actually, a country which celebrated Victory Day, and it marks and commemorates the victory of a country, which we will find out. Now, I don't know whether I should brave it, but I will. I wanted to say a few lines about the country and, and how it became. But I think I'll see if I can brave it later on. But before I do that, I will take you over to my guests and introduce you all. So if I can first of all go to, actually, I will start with Rezuan Chowdhury. Now, Rezuan is from Bangladesh. He's a teacher. He has a lot of views and thoughts that he can share with us, along with some of his background, which we will find out. But I'd just like to briefly welcome Rezuan onto the show. Hello, Rezuan.
Hello, Syeda. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you for joining. Along with Rezuan, I have Aliza from Bangladesh as well, and she is also a teacher, and she has a lot to share with us. So I have Aliza here, who I'd like to introduce everyone to. So hello, Aliza.
Hello.
Thank you for joining.
Nice to meet you all.
Thank you for joining, Aliza.
Thank you for inviting me as well.
I want to take you over to another guest of mine who has been with me on one of my shows. And he is also a teacher, but based in the UK. He's also an author. And at some point, I think I'm going to have to get him to say one of his poems, which I never got to allow our viewers to, have that advantage. But, hopefully that he won't feel too much on the spot this time. But Saif Uddin from UK, hello and welcome back to my show again.
Hi, it's good to be back.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you. I have another exciting guest, also another teacher. He's all the way from Kazakstan. He's also an ambassador for teens in artificial intelligence, which we will find out. And I'm very intrigued because AI, which stands for artificial intelligence, is something that I have very little knowledge about, but it seems like, we need to give that space to understand a little bit more and get insight a little bit more. And who other than I thought Bayzhan Mukatay from Kazakhstan can tell us about that in a while. But welcome, Bayzhan, onto my show.
Hi, thanks for inviting me.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining me. And last but not least, I have a very, very my special guest today. Her name is Anita Ray, and she is the most prettiest in all of you. She's only 15 years of age. She's a GCSE student, and she's joined me all the way from Wales. And I have a little announcement to make about Anita a bit in a while as well. But welcome to the show, Anita.
Thank you, SABIA.
Thank you for joining me. I'd just like to tell the viewers that do watch out. Anita is on a new upcoming youth fluent host who will be coming with lots of dynamic issues and topics coming up. So watch this space and do welcome Anita, with open arms, as it's always very important to hear what our youth have to say about issues and things happening where, significance doesn't really come unless you give them that platform. So hopefully, Anita, you'll be coming up with lots of great things for us to look out for, and we will be made aware of a lot of new things.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so without any more delays, we have so much that we have to cover today. Now, first of all, I think I will take everyone over to Saif, who I would like to give us a little insight about this virtual learning that we keep getting faced with, especially now, and some of the factors about how it's rising, and what can you say about that, Saif? Can I get you to share that with our viewers and ourselves here today? Just an insight about what this virtual learning is.
Yeah, sure. I guess I'd start by talking to you guys about me being a history teacher. There's a lot of patterns that we see across history that repeat itself constantly, that could be like a global crisis or a world crisis, for example, the Wall Street crash, or another pandemic that happened a few hundred years ago. All of these big factors forces the world to change and adapt, and it means that sometimes a war can happen, for example. That means certain countries have to adapt. These big cases, the recent one in our generation, in our lifetime, has been the pandemic, which has forced us to actually technologically advance ourselves. It's forced us to commit time to learning about certain softwares and actually learning and adapting our lives to work from home, to study from home. And thus, virtual tuition and virtual learning has now grown massively in the last few months. Now, unfortunately, there is a sad side to that, which is the fact that it's being forced out because it's not being as great physically in school. There are limited timings within the school, so people aren't getting the most out of the schooling itself. There's limited teaching approaches as well, and we've got a couple of teachers on this call as well, which would be something that you guys can also add in on. But when you're teaching a class, you can't be doing what you're regularly doing from a few years ago. Your teaching approaches have to completely change now. You can't be using certain physical activities to get whatever subject of knowledge you need to get your students to learn. So it means that you can't be teaching with the best standard like you might have been before. And on top of that, they're forced to isolate, or they're forced to study from home now. And what that leads to is now one of two things. Either a teacher is on virtual learning and is teaching them to the best of their abilities, learning and using everything to the best of their abilities and adapting to the internet. Or the teacher is thinking, hey, I'm just going to give a subpar lesson, and because at the end of the day, I'm still going to get paid at the end of the month. No matter how quality checked my tuition is or my learning is, it doesn't really matter. I'm still going to get paid. And this is what led to a very interesting stigma now created for virtual learning. A lot of college and a lot of students, maybe the GCSE student Anita can definitely hone in on this as well. They don't feel, or a lot of people aren't feeling, they're getting the best sort of virtual learning out of this scenario. But this is a scenario that we're in, and we can improve from if we do it right.
Okay. What I want to go from there is, I know we have a video clip, and I'd like us to explore the trends of this online education that's happening. And maybe our viewers can get a little insight by just having a look at that. And then maybe we can go a little bit more in details of, what was in that video. So, studio, can we have video 2, please, just to show our viewers?
Hi, my name is Salik, and I study A-level psychology, business, and economics at the Warren School in Chowdhury.
My name's Johnny, and I currently go New Vic.
My name's Zaina. I'm in year 11, and for the past few weeks I've been getting tutored by PZ Tuition.
I was not getting enough support during this pandemic. They offered help in all my A-level subjects for not only content, but coursework too.
During this pandemic, it's been really hard for my school to support me.
PZ Tuition has dramatically helped me to improve my exam structure, techniques, and provided me with a welcoming and safe atmosphere for me to learn.
PZ offers A-star quality tuition. I was working on a D for history, and from the very first session, I saw improvements in my work.
I've been getting both physical and virtual tuition.
The tutors are really helpful.
I would highly recommend anyone from anywhere in the country to get in touch.
Honestly, they really are
revolutionizing tuition.
Okay, so we get an insight here. I mean, this is what's happening in UK, and we get to see how our students can be engaged in activities, and we just actually viewed a few strategies. It looks like of the way this is happening. What I wanted to ask. Before I even ask Saif this, actually, I'm going to go down to Rezuan. Just by watching that, Rezuan, you're a teacher in Bangladesh. You do things and you have observed things in a different way. Just by watching that video clip, can you tell us what your thoughts are of, how you've just seen how this learning and teaching is taking place? Is there something you can comment on that?
Yeah, sure. We are also practicing virtual learning from March 18, and there are only few schools those who have started online teaching from March 18, and our school is one of them. And we are using different kind of strategies and different kind of tools. Those tools and strategies can involve the learners very active, so they can participate, they will not feel bored, or and they can use the tools at their home. Most of the students are using pad or phone, so those tools are really helping the students to the learners can reflect their understanding through those tools and strategies. So we are using Padtech, we are using a Mentimeter, then Padlet. So these kind of tools are really engaged. Those tools are helping to the students to keep engaged in that topic. And we are also for online classroom is also very important for the students. For we are inviting guests from outside of the country. Like we invited a teacher from Iraq. He's a POEP coordinator, so he came to our classroom, and he took a class based on the concept. So students are getting chance to to get global perspective. So this really help in other sense based on if you think about compare the online and face-to-face learning.
Sure. Before I go on to our other two teachers, I will come back to you, Rezuan, as well. But I wanted to hear some thoughts from Anita, who is the young person behind all of that. So I've got you all as a line of teachers. Anita, you had a look at that video clip. Is that something that you're doing at the moment, or is that something it's quite familiar to you? What can you say about that?
I can relate to most of the A levels and GCSE students. I mean, I know with GCSEs in Wales today, all of the exams got cancelled. So it's putting extra pressure on the GCSE students to get their coursework in, otherwise they fail. And it is hard because everything's just going up in the air, and you're just like, there's exams, we're used to having exams, but there's actually not. There's no exams there. So there's just so much pressure being put on you by having this coursework in and having it specific way, otherwise you fail. And people don't want that, because we've been told that we do the exams, there's obviously you're going to end up passing, but with the coursework now, we don't know what's going to happen. So I can relate. I know how they're feeling. I know what they're going through. It is hard, but it's something that has to be done. We can't just push it to one side. We have to get through it.
Yeah.
And
are you currently doing online getting online teaching? And how are you finding that?
Online teaching has been alright. I mean, sometimes it's hard because the teachers just put it up there and say, get on with it, do it, needs to be in by a certain date. But then sometimes they come back and they're like, right, this is what needs to be done, and they talk to you bit by bit. I mean, for one of my subjects, I've taken healthcare, and I have to spend 10 hours on an essay, which I don't know nothing about, haven't even been taught nothing about it. They just chucked it up and said, go do it. And it's just too much pressure on people. I mean, it's just hard.
Yeah. Bayzhan, can we have your thoughts briefly on what you've just seen, and how is it any similar or different to Kazakhstan where you are? Because you're a teacher there. How has virtual learning or teaching been any different or advanced? If you can share some thoughts on that.
Yeah, sure. So I can talk about this process from a perspective of a teacher and a student, because I graduated from school like 6 months ago. And so about learning, it was a bit hard because we didn't have much of interaction with our teachers, and we had to learn and prepare for exams ourselves most of the times. And so this was about the skill of self-education. And about teaching, I had a lot of students who have who don't have access to computers, and so they have to study from their phones, and which is a bit problematic, but I think we are going through it, and yeah, the problems are basically the same.
Okay, yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. And just a brief thought also, I haven't forgotten about you, Aliza. There is another great thing that I'm going to ask Aliza to elaborate on. But before that, Aliza, you're a teacher in Bangladesh as well. And, the way virtual learning is taking place, I believe the age group that you are teaching are primary school level. How are you finding that, if you are using online virtual teaching methods, how are you finding engaging these young kids, via this computer and getting set up? Could you share some, experience of that with us?
Sure. So I would like to start by just repeating the line I watched on the video. It is a revolution. The online teaching, the virtual teaching. So it is really a revolution. So yes, I am working with the early year kids, which are very young ones, aging 5 to 7 years. So yes, it is really challenging to work with these kids, to make them sit in front of the devices and getting their attention, working with them, delivering lessons. So yes, it is a bit difficult, but as we are trying to incorporate many more strategies, interactive strategies, so yes, now the things are getting easy. So first it was challenging for us also. So when we started virtual teaching first, after the lockdown in last March, so it was difficult for us as well. So with as time passed by, we also got used to the stuffs. We also got used to the strategies, and now we are getting confident day by day. And now I think the things are getting easier for the parents, for the kids also.
Okay. Yeah. So if I can, thank you very much for that. So Saif, right, you have shown us this video clip about, how the different ways, and how students are doing that. How engaged and how motivating are these kids finding? Do you actually get a feedback, or either is there a way that this gets assessed to check the development and going forward, how is this working?
So with us at PZ, although I know even my family and even my friends look at it thinking that I've started a tuition business, I don't really see it like that. And because I see it as a company that has an arm in tuition, one of our other arms is in community building and building an actual community. The reason why is just like we said, everything's changing. So to get the motivation of students, to keep them motivated, the first important thing that I do is keep them in a sense of a community, make them feel like they belong with us, so then they can get this academic help and they can get this sessions and tuition online. But the main thing that has actually really helped us is an app called Discord. Now, we use Discord simply because it connects everyone together. It's traditionally used by the younger generation. So even maybe some of the younger people in this chat can actually understand or know already what Discord is. And maybe some of the older ones like myself may not have ever heard of it before. But it allows you to voice call, video call, keep up with everyone, receive feedback instantly, communicate with the tutors whenever you need it. Because one of the biggest problems was, how do I get help from a tutor when they're not, when I don't have a paid session with them? It doesn't matter. You can contact us at any time. You can communicate with us. So communication has been a big factor in helping people stay engaged and motivated, and that communication has been through Discord, visually, through audio as well as video.
Right. Okay. So definitely. In a way, I mean, this virtual learning, we have to make sure that whoever you are, going to do this virtual learning with, they need to have that resource. They need to have that computer. They need to have the connection. I want to find out from Rezuan here, how, I mean, I know, again, you're dealing with primary school kids, but it's similar. It's the same application where the resources, the families, the students, they need to have, the computer, the connection, if this was to happen. How common is that, or how supportive are the schools in providing maybe, to help with this rise of virtual learning? Can you tell us a bit about that, Rezuan?
Yeah, sure. Miss Aliza and I work also on, based on a research work based on virtual learning happening in other curriculum in Bangladesh and IB curriculum. So our research is also published from America, and it was based on Bangladesh and other, countries surrounding Bangladesh, like India and Nepal. What other countries are doing during this pandemic? So what we have found, if I talk about only our school, our students were, quite smart. Our students are really smart. They have the laptop and tab, not only during this pandemic. Before pandemic, they had all the devices, and the teachers and students, all of them have their own Gmail ID. So, for earliest, like nursery and KG1 student, that doesn't have any Gmail ID before pandemic. But other from grade KG2 to onwards classes, everyone had the Gmail ID, because our curriculum is also focusing on IT and everything. So the students are habituated how to, log in Gmail ID, these and that, and download all these things. So they did not, suffer a lot. But if I talk about other curriculum in Bangladesh, those schools took a little bit time to, apply the online classes, because the student doesn't have any Gmail ID, they doesn't have any G Suite things, and also the teachers were not much skilled how to conduct the classes through online. But our students are used to do the taking interview and taking survey before the pandemic from last 2 or 3 years with other. We collaborate with other school students, so like schools.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I believe the school that you're teaching in, it is an international privately funded school, which only those who can afford go and can have those opportunities out to them. what I want to do now is actually show our viewers a video clip of this international school that, I think a country like Bangladesh, really there should be more of it, and then I think that, the viewers will understand why I say that, and I feel very proud that there is a school like that out there, but, we all as individuals, and I'll let Rezuan say why he thinks there should be more schools like that and how we should have more schools like that. And then maybe we can see the comparisons of, how UK system is working and compare it with also Kazakstan and Bangladesh, just a couple of countries, that will be, quite interesting to see how this is working and maybe how we can all work together to, help with this awareness and create more development. So if I can get our video 1 to be shown to our viewers and everyone, so we can get an insight of this international school as well. Wow, that was amazing. it's just amazing. Well, what can I say? I am actually very proud to say, I didn't think, we had anything like that in Bangladesh. Saif, what did you think?
I actually, and I've got my wife here as well, who's watching that video with me. We were actually very impressed with that. The state of the building, the way it was kind of very, like, I can tell this obviously was built and designed before COVID, but it was just like, I really didn't expect that from a school, even in Dhaka or even in Bangladesh. And I'm very proud that, the school has been built.
Yes. And it looks like from the way everything was in there, the curriculum, the way, they've got everything laid out. I can understand why it's called international school. Maybe Rezuan, if you can elaborate and tell us, where this concept came and, how is it working? Because it's almost like how schools are here in the West, where, the way we do our teachings, which, Saif will only know too well, that, we usually elicit, information and things from the students, and it's not a strict, teacher-led, classroom where, the teacher's always saying this is what you've got to learn, and it's not your military style, this is what you've got to learn, this is right, this is wrong. It looks like, from my impression, is that, the students are there, they're exploring, their thoughts are being taken in consideration. So am I thinking along the right lines there, Rezuan?
Yes. Basically, we are following IB curriculum, International Baccalaureate curriculum, and in Bangladesh there are 7 total IB schools at the moment, authorized IB school, and Abdul Qadir Mullah International School is one of them. And this is an international curriculum, and teachers are well trained up. Every week we have scheduled workshops, PD sessions, and everything. And the concept of our learning is inquiry-based concept. So, the students are getting chance for, doing inquiry. They're not doing any kind of memorizing or thing. So, we are doing different kinds of applying different kinds of strategies in the classrooms, and, we have different kind of activities, and the students can go outside of the school and they can explore about the concept. And students are also, participating in different kind of international events. And so, many schools in the world, they're saying international school, but they are not,
well, they're not following it. Yes, they're not following it as it could be followed or developed in that way.
Yes, and I wish we had one IB school in Sylhet region also, because most of the IB schools are based in Dhaka and Chittagong. There are no IB schools in Sylhet. I hope many investors, they're going to look forward to investing on education sector in Sylhet.
Definitely, yes. That's an appeal I think we should do right here, right now. That just looking at some of the ways it is. I believe that school is in a place called Nasindi in Dhaka. Is that correct?
Yes.
And again, it has to, it has to be where people can get together and come up with that initiative. And also from what Saif has shown us of that tuition center, how it's being done. This is something that we hope that can be widely, used. Whether it is Kazakstan, Bangladesh, UK. Education, has to be uplifted, and I think it's making sure that people out there can hear this voice and probably take some initiative to set it up. I wanted to ask Aliza to say something about how. Basically, what's intriguing me, Aliza, is that poster you've got behind you. Okay, you've got this poster behind you, and I wanted our viewers to know a little bit about what that poster is about, and also can that, or how does that, or do you? I'm asking 3 different questions here. How does it incorporate with the education? it get included in the curriculum? You know, and if it does, you know, how are you using that as a learning, you know, for the students out there? Which I will also want to find out from Saif, you know, do we have anything similar like this even in the UK, where once we've heard Aliza what that is about, I'd like to find out. Yeah, so Aliza, please tell us a little bit about that poster.
So, is it clearly visible? It is the picture actually. It is a poster. It is a beautiful artwork made by one of our students, Lani. She is from grade 6. So this artwork is actually based on our Victory Day. So she is drawing the picture of when our country got independent, our country got victory against Pakistan. So you can say, as you can see, the flag is hoisted. People are in a very joyous mode. So it is a win over Pakistani army. So that's it. It is all about our Victory Day and how we are incorporating the theme into our curriculum. So we are teaching the significance of this day. So as it is one of the very important days of our history. So we are teaching our kids about this day through various activities. So what we used to do earlier, we used to celebrate this day inside the school campus with lots of activities. The kids got the opportunity to learn about this day through drama, different cultural activities. They used to recite poems, so act out dramas. There were songs based on our liberation war and all these things. So that actually made them learn the significance or the importance of this day. So still we are doing it. This year we did not, we were not lucky enough to do it inside the school campuses because of the classes are now shifted.
That is where the virtual.
Yes.
So, you know, how did that, you know, happen and take place?
So this year we celebrated the day completely virtually. So there were events. It is more likely the way we used to do it inside the school. So just we used the online medium to do it this year. So yes, there were the same activities, same learning engagements. The students, had the program like the students recited some poems regarding the liberation war. And then we had the competition of go as you like dress as you like. So our learners dressed like some political personalities, renowned personalities. There were art competition, there were song, and yes, that we showed documentary, which helped them to inquire more about our Victory Day.
So everything had to be done virtually.
Everything had to be done virtually.
Even with a celebration like this. This takes me to Bayzhan, actually. Bayzhan, I'd like you to tell us, I mean, artificial intelligence. How does that come in to be a good thing, a developed thing in the education system? We've just heard from Aliza that even a celebration, you know, was the first time they did something virtually, you know, to learn about. Now, how can AI incorporate in that? You know, how can we make it, you know, a more of a motivational and a developed learning, you know, with the virtual way of doing things?
So I'm not very good in artificial intelligence, but I have some ideas that are actually popular here. And the first thing is that we can use AI to make a better practice test for students. Okay, just imagine a test that you have to prepare for, and you do practice tests every day. Every day you solve 10 questions, and the system, it can analyze your mistakes and give you the better questions next time that you can learn from. That's just one possible way how we can incorporate AI in this education system. Also, we can use it for cheating detection. when people are taking tests, for example, now we are all taking tests online, all the exams. So there are a lot of software that can analyze your video and tell if you are cheating or not. For example, there is a popular Duolingo English test. If you heard about it, it's an English proficiency test. So when you take it, nobody checks it. It's just computer who does it. So if you move your head somewhere from the screen, it can say that you're cheating or something.
Okay. All right.
So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah. Saif, are you making any heads and tails out of this artificial intelligence and how that's incorporated with our virtual learning? Yeah.
I'm actually a huge fan of AI. I have been using about 2 different AIs quite regularly. One is Alexa, the other one is Siri, quite recently. I'm a fan of them because I do believe they are quite intelligent in the basic things that we need and do. I see it transforming our general lifestyle. I think my friends and family have seen that recently with AirPods in my ear. I literally use AI quite a lot. How it relates or how it works with education is something that I feel like needs to be developed a lot more, because you, on the one hand, are forced to now go all in on technology and softwares and all of these kind of things. But I don't think at the same time, from a people's point of view, that we are producing as much in return. Yes, companies are now building softwares like Discord, for example, now is more focused on teachers instead of games and solely on games. So companies are adapting to it. AI, I believe, needs to adapt to it a little more. And just to actually add into the point that was made a little earlier regarding Bangladesh's the Victory Day, the significance of it and how we can use virtual learning and how we can integrate it with the internet. It all comes down to now, is there enough content? Is there enough videos on YouTube explaining this is what Victory Day was for Bangladeshi students? Because I had a student in here last week and we were doing their personal statement and we spoke about 1970s, and she's Bangladeshi, the person speaking to her is Gujarati, and he's like, oh yeah, in 1970s something happened in Bangladesh, and she was clueless. She had no idea what was going on. She didn't know what country we split up from to even gain independence, and I was shocked by just hearing that. And it really means it's not really her fault, but it is about her environment, her parents, and how much we can actually offer in that kind of sense. So why isn't there more content on YouTube about Victory Day for Bangladesh? And that's exactly what my company will be now producing, content that is factually based on there, that will engage the younger community and in important issues like this.
Yes. Well, you are a history teacher as well, and I was just, thinking, I mean, even our viewers may think, well, it is history, isn't it? Things like this, I don't think we've seen much of it in our UK curriculum widely used. Maybe that's something that can be taken on board, whether it's Bangladesh or any other country, because that's how we learn about history and the significance behind it, don't we?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think it will be in a British school very soon, only because it's only in the last maybe 10 years that they've only recently started teaching slavery amongst Industrial Revolution. And they haven't even got as far as to that. However, it's up to us as individuals to really shed some light on these kind of issues. I'll give you an example, and you'd be familiar with this. Altab Ali Park in E1. Again, people don't really know too much about Altab Ali, and that's something that I really push to help them understand. Actually, there's so much history and we're gonna not be taught this at school. We need to know we're not gonna be taught this at school, but we need to be able to find that information on the internet and provide it for other people that want to learn.
Yes. Anita, we're not making enough noise, I think, about awareness of things like this. So, you've got to come up with ideas, Anita, on this. I mean, you are our future, and, you have to lead the way. So how do you think we can start making noise about creating awareness of historical events and the significance of different countries? What do you think? What kind of things do you think, should be done, and how it should be going about?
People need to learn the basics of each country before they are able to do everything. Obviously, you're talking about history and then all the other teachers, but they don't know the backstory of each country. And if people knew what it was, people would be more interested and more involved. And if they were involved, then that'd be even better, because it would just be better for everyone, because they would know what each country is about. But because people these days are more about social media, and instead of searching up what each country is about, that's not getting nowhere. It's just bringing us back.
So briefly, did you have any idea what this Bangladesh Victory Day was about? And have you ever heard of it? Right. So today, Anita, you've learned something to take away with you, which is, one of the reasons why we're here today, to create that awareness and learn something about it from each other, and hopefully our viewers from different parts of the globe, can take something as well. We are coming almost to the end of our show, people. There's so much that we can cover. What I do want to say is I want you all to sort of briefly say a few last things that you can mention about this, virtual learning, teaching online and learning from online. And, if we can just slowly wrap up with that. I'll start off with Rezuan, if I may. Last few things you can mention, Rezuan, about how you see this virtual learning going forward, moving forward, and is it here to stay?
For example, the way we are teaching in our school, I wish all the schools are, get the facilities from, management or government. They could smoothly run their school as well. But still, the primary schools, the government schools are not doing any kind of online teaching. Because the student doesn't have the device and everything, and they have net issues, internet issues, and the teachers are also not skillful. So I think the government should, even post-COVID, the government should take some actions, to develop the teachers teaching and IT knowledge. And if you think about how other schools are doing the online classes in Bangladesh, they're really doing good. Even not based on Dhaka, and big city schools are doing really good. They are celebrating many events even through virtually, and also the students are quite happy. The percentage of the students every single day is getting higher. So they are also back to the normal life or something like that. They are enjoying the classes because the teachers are involving with a different kind of strategies. And if you think parents are also helping because they are now the third teacher, right? Teacher and student, they are playing the role of a third teacher at home. So the parents are got to know how the teachers are conducting the classes in school. Like if I give example of our school, before that the parents hardly know how we're conducting the classes, right? When face-to-face school was going on. But now parents are appreciating us. So it's a really tough job you are doing. We can see, they are sitting behind of the, beside the students. So, they can see how the students are, giving the reflections, and, how they are participating in the discussion. So also how the teachers are conducting the classes, the style of the teachers, the methodology and everything. So parents are giving good reflection of the teachers, that how smoothly the school is going on, and they can compare to other, many parents, they have their children in other schools as well. So easily they can compare the different schools and teacher strategies and the students' participation as well.
Definitely. Thank you very much. Yes, the parent, the teacher partnership is so important. I'm sure everyone. Yes, everyone here will agree. Aliza, anything you could add on to what Rezuan was saying of that school?
Yes, regarding the online teaching in Bangladesh, now definitely the schools located in the cities, in the towns, they are much more facilitated and getting those facilities, internet connection and all those things. And if I want to talk about the remote areas, the schools are still lacking those internet facilities and this internet connection. So this is actually a challenge for us still. So ensuring a smooth electricity, flawless internet connectivity. So yes, those stuffs are still challenging for us. So as Rezuan mentioned in earlier, so we tried to find out the actual scenario in our research paper, and we tried to give some recommendation to make the online or virtual teaching really flawless in Bangladesh. So some of the recommendations were the government should take enough steps on, I mean, just the ICT devices should be, I mean, the price should be affordable, reasonable for all the learners. There should be steps for the teachers training. The teachers should be skilled enough to run virtual classes, and then after all, overall there should be a well written policy regarding online curriculum. So we get, those are the stuffs that can really make online teaching a success in Bangladesh.
Brilliant. Thank you for that.
And I just want to echo Rezuan. Yes, we are still lacking IB schools in Bangladesh. There are only 7 schools and no one in Sylhet. So we are really looking forward to some initiatives. So we are hoping for one.
That was my question. You know, what do you suggest that, you know, how things can be developed in the remote areas? You know, what kind of things do you suggest that can help, and who can help?
The very first thing is ensuring a smooth, flawless internet connection. So the internet connection is the primary thing for that, and then the devices should be, I mean, affordable to all the learners. Still, many learners from villages cannot afford a laptop or a smartphone. So this is still a challenge for many of the learners.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think we're facing similarly even in the UK, Saif, right? You know, I mean, Anita, I mean, you can also vouch for that. You know, resources, you know, are like gold dust, and you know how we get them. You know, who actually you know, provides them. You know, the government, the private sectors. You know, how can we all work together to, you know, get that resource to help us develop ourselves and, you know, for the future generations. Bayzhan, just very quickly as well, if you can just say a few things just to end off on your end, you know, about the fact that how schools in Kazakhstan, you know, are developing and operating, and is this virtual learning, you know, the way to go and here to stay as well?
Yeah, I think Kazakhstan is doing not bad, but in this online education, in most of the cities as well as in Bangladesh, in big cities, is not a problem. But we have some connection issues and facilities like
is that connection issue
areas.
As a country?
Yeah, as a country. So it's actually very similar to what's happening in Bangladesh. So we need. Our teachers are learning how to like teach online, and that's very developing right now, and I think it's good.
Brilliant. Okay, Saif, do you want to say last few things before we wrap up? We've literally got a couple of minutes, and then you know, we'll have to finish off there.
Awesome. I'll be very, very quick then. My main kind of message isn't really directed towards the institutes or the teachers themselves, but actually at the students. One thing I really want everyone to kind of understand is things will always happen in life, and some, especially these kind of things, are out of our hands. But we cannot use this as an excuse to hinder our own individual progress in academics or even at work. We have to kind of not put the blame on the situation itself. So I'll actually do 2 things. I'll quickly wrap up with a very small poem, since SABIA really wanted one last time as well. So
thank you.
This is called The Biggest Lie. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is the lie which falls to blame. The many reasons why we never amounted to the expectations. Excuse me, and that's the problem, excuses. The life we lead, the joy we seek, our tears, our laughter, our memories, those after. Our smile, our thoughts, and our benevolent voice. The biggest lie we tell ourselves, we never had a choice.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. Anita, how beautiful was that?
That was powerful.
Yeah, it was very powerful, wasn't it? Just to finish off then, Anita, as well, just, 10, 20 seconds of anything you would like to say.
I mean, this year, obviously, with COVID, the virtual learning's been alright. But it's just the lack of, teachers getting in contact with you and seeing how you're doing, especially in the UK. You would think, oh yeah, the teachers would ring you every day to see how you're doing with your work and how do you need any help, but they don't. I mean, I've been off ill with school for the past 3 months since we've been back, and they're putting everything online for me. Don't get me wrong, it's great, but they started ringing me and then it's just gone downhill. And you're like, well, obviously, if you're meant to be doing this virtual learning, you think they're going to ring you, but they don't. So it's a difficult one.
Yes. Well, we will try and overcome all of that. And, you've got few youth fluent, dynamic topics to bring up. And, we are going to present it out there, hopefully. But on that note, I want to thank everyone here today for your valuable contribution and some of the significant information you have shared with us. The tuition center where Saif, you've kindly shown us how it is actually done, and the international school in Bangladesh, how proud and impressive that was. We need more of that to happen to help build up. But thank you again, everyone. And I do hope to have you on my show again soon with more wonderful, significant topics such as this. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting us. It was really a great experience to learn more about stuffs. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so viewers, all I have to say is champions aren't made in gyms. Champions are made from something deep they have inside, a desire, a dream, a vision. They have to have the skill and the will, but the most will be stronger than the skill. A beautiful quote by Muhammad Ali. I hope you will stay safe and join with me, share VodTalk, and be safe again. Thank you.